Table of Contents, 1. What preceded, 2. Declaration of Independence, 3. Constructing the Nation, 4. Production and Economy, 5. Civil Unrest and Conflict of Polovoi Gorod, 6. Victory over Polovoi Gorod. 7. The Great Industrial Revolution, 8. Pangeria opens business for trade, 9. The Great Pangerian Edrastanian Meeting, 10. The Great Pangerian Infrastructure, 11. The future is still open. 1. What preceded, 2019. Before the creation of the DPSR, a similar state existed. This was the micronation of Conversia, also known as the Conversion Union. This nation came into being mid-2019 and had the same flag as Pangeria has today. There is little to say more about this early stage of development of the micronation as there is only little documented. 2. Declaration of Independence, but on November 5, things changed for good. The president of Conversia noticed that his people weren't motivated and that the micronation should restructure to achieve its ultimate goal of recognition and independence. That's why he declared the state of Pangeria, also known as the Democratic Pangerian Soviet Republics. He also declared the People's Internationale to be the national anthem, and he altered the lyrics to make it fit Pangeria better. 3. Construction of the nation. Immediately after the Declaration of Independence, the president ordered the construction of infrastructure throughout the whole nation. Military strongholds, roads, and people's buildings started to be constructed out of the few materials present in the young micronation. A people's militia was formed in order to protect the DPSR. This militia was named the Red Guard, and back then consisted out of a single rifle squad and a ragtag collection of naval vehicles. Later this army grew and was transformed into a better organized guerrilla army completed with an air defense unit. 4. Production and economy. At the end of August, the president decided to start melting aluminum. He had just discovered this to be a possible way of producing coins and other metal objects. At the beginning the melting wasn't working out as well as expected. But eventually an oven was built and the flames and coals were heated by air blown in from the bottom. This technique, designed by a Pangerian citizen, was very successful, and the aluminum reserves of Pangeria began to grow. Also, the Pangerian agriculture was a great success, producing tomatoes and pickles for all of the citizens to consume for free. 5. Civil unrest and conflict of Polovoi Gorod. Pangeria was a quickly developing and prosperous nation. But on November 22, tensions began to rise internally. A citizen that was very loyal to the state at first began to show signs of anti-socialist behavior. Therefore, he was eventually banned from the DPSR. Pangeria lost more than half of its territory after banning the traitor. However, the attention was drawn towards a newly found Soviet Republic of the DPSR. The big chunk of land was inaugurated into the DPSR by the just banned traitor. And both Pangeria and the newly formed anti-Pangerian Brotherhood, also known as the Compound, claimed the big chunk of land, which was after the conflict named Polovoi Gorod. The complete conflict of Polovoi Gorod only had a few actual showdowns which didn't lead to combat situations. However, the Compound had its spies in Pangeria, so the president had no other choice than banning people simply on suspicion. After this so-called purge, only the real Pangerian Patriotic Corps was left over to fight for Pangeria's existence. 6. Victory over Polovoi Gorod. After weeks, the general of the Pangerian Red Guard spoke to the president and told the president that it was for the better that Pangeria would leave the conflict and surrender the land to the Compound. A period of cooling down went by until January 18, 2021. That was when the president decided to achieve his goal of a great united Pangeria by simply reopening diplomacy with the compound leader. Both parties agreed on a truce. The compound was slowly falling apart due to its unstable capitalist nature. So the compound leader decided to hand over the land of Polovoi Gorod to the DPSR. This is when the conflict ended and Pangeria reunited. 7. The Great Industrial Revolution, the conflict finally coming to an end led the president to rebuilding the people's paradise on earth called Pangeria. The president had the opinion that agriculture was way too small in Pangeria, and required a boost. Everywhere in Pangeria small collective farms were opened and crops started growing. It was only until the winter of 2021 arrived when the president decided to temporarily abandon agriculture and restart the process of melting aluminum, which was discontinued due to the Polovoi Gorod conflict. He discovered that the old way of melting aluminum with an oven was not as efficient as just creating a so-called high fire, which was way simpler and led to greater results than before. 8. Pangeria opens for trade. After Pangeria achieved production, the need of a reliable economy was big. The Pangerian currency, the Pangerian euro, was unstable and worth nothing compared to other micronational currencies. The president discovered this after meeting the leader of Edristan online, whom he had a lot of currencies exchanges with via mail. By June 2021, a triangular trade route was formed with the nations of USK and Edristan in their macronations, Slovakia and Germany. 9. The Great Pangerian Edristanian Meeting. From the very beginning the two leaders met. There was a feeling that Pangeria and Edristan could be great allies. Edristan also to this day is Pangeria's most loyal ally, in trade and ideologically. Once in July, when the president was planning a vacation trip of a week to Austria, the president of Edristan, a nation located in Germany and laying on the route to Austria, initiated that the two presidents could meet up in real life. So they did. On the Pangerian president's way back to Pangeria, he stopped in the city of Bonn, where the Edristanian leader awaited him. Eventually this meeting led the ties of the two nations strengthening and relations becoming better than ever. Side note, the Pangerian currency, the Pangerian gulden, is designed by Edristan. 10. The Great Pangerian Infrastructure. In order to reach Pangeria's final destination, greater infrastructure was required. A lot of things had to be done. The president did a lot of effort in great projects, particularly in the nation's capital of Brostow, where a lot of things changed since the beginning of Pangeria. To mention a few. 1. The reconstruction of the Independence Memorial Monument. 2. The construction of the leader's Great Lectern. 3. The construction of the Red Star Tower. 4. The construction of the Brostow pipeline system and many more initiatives under the command of the National Water Management Organization. 5. Also, the most recent construction of a new booming city center of Brostow cannot be ignored. 11. The future is still open, at last. Pangeria has achieved so much over the lifespan of more than 2 years of independence. But the end is not near. The future is still open for many events to happen. Pangeria has the best allies, potentially the best micronational military and one of the best and most developing economies in the micronational community. If you have made it so far into the video, thank you very much for watching my video and paying attention to the story of Pangeria.